Would you, Trump won, yada, yada, yada. Here in 2028, we got another election. Would you vote for a candidate who promised all men free rib removal surgery for self-suck? I'm serious. If he came on TV, he's like, "Look, America, you vote for me," and the ladies will love it, dude. Ladies hate S&D.
It's true.
So
It's very true.
If like, I don't care who, if they're just like, we pay to get two ribs removed on either side, like, I'm quitting podcasting. I'm not doing anything once I can self-suck, dude. Like, I'm quitting the bowling team. Like, all of it's off the table.
Back Home Media.
When the night falls, my phone starts to blow, thinking about you, but you don't gotta know. It's a funny thing, this mood that I'm in only makes me not want the loneliness begins. Got your number on speed, but only at night when feeling's alright and the stars are.
He's set tripping is what he's doing.
That true. There he is.
Now I can hear you. You're working now?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's working on your end. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear it. I'm good. It's in my headphones.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right. Well, I don't know if Jared or Brandon joined, but we'll go ahead and get started. Is this the first time you've been on screen with Jeff, Rowd?
I think so.
Is this your first time you've ever met him?
I think so.
Does his affinity with Fred Durst when it comes to dressing himself bother you?
No.
He's doing it all for he does it all for the nookie, but he gets no pussy. He does it all for the nagging, is what he does. So what's up, boys?
Just living the fucking dream, dude.
Okay, so it's perfect timing because this is a new podcast called Homeroom. It's all of us that write Norm's show, which, by the way, for those listeners that don't know, Norm has a group chat that he left 2 weeks ago because he hates us. But we still give him ideas. I tell him stuff that the boys say. But the two Kamala.
Does he want to know what we say?
No, I really don't. I really don't think he has any beef. I think he's just. I think he's just taking. Like, he's not doing any shows until December. I think he's like just taking a break from kind of like what I'm doing with like nuking my Facebook and everything. Like,
yeah,
sometimes it's a new country. Well, this is the thing. Like, I think that I used to be somebody who would tell people never vote because nothing will ever change. Nothing, but I have been proven wrong.
Same.
I think that things change at a glacial pace, but I do think that things change. COVID, I think, changed America completely. I live in my hometown because of COVID, because now literally like most people operate online on some capacity. Even if you go to the office every day, you're still Zooming with people that aren't driving across town to come see you. But we are now in a new era of another Trump presidency rolling around here in a few months. I want to start with Rowd because I've had Jeff on more recent. Rowd, talk about this last 3 months politically, what it's been like. And you're in Ohio, man, so I don't know what state, which way your state swings, but what's it been like this last few months?
Definitely a lot of Trump signs, man. I'm in rural Ohio. I'm Toledo. Sandusky area, and the weird thing about the whole election was the media did what the media does, and it gaslit us so much that I believe that she actually had a shot. I actually thought, I was like, I'm thinking in my head, there's no fucking way this lady, like, I look at this lady talk, like, she's almost as bad as fucking Biden, and she's still fucking, and I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? They're saying the polls are the closest it's ever been. It's gonna be an election for the fucking history books and blah blah. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. I think it might be close. And then it happened. It's like, yep, that's exactly what I expected would happen. but I fucking took the bait and I thought that it would be close.
Was it? Let me ask you this: both you can either. We'll go to Jeff now. So my social media up until about 2 weeks before Election Day, like if you just base the election results on what Reddit was showing me, what everything was showing me, it was a Kamala landslide. It was like there's no way. And then 2 weeks before the election, I started seeing more stuff that wasn't anti-Trump. It wasn't necessarily pro-Trump, but it was less anti-Trump.
Yeah.
But again, like I've never voted. I'm not registered anything. My algorithm probably doesn't know who I like. Jeff, what was your social media feed like? Of like the last 3 months and in the 2 weeks, did you see a change at all?
It's exactly what you said there, because like I did notice, obviously, you're going to see the uptick from the mainstream media, Facebook, all that stuff of Kamala. But yeah, like the last 2 weeks, and I remember I talked to you about this on election night. God, I wish I had a beer with you guys. I'm watching you guys take a drink. I'm like, I'm Irish, so it's killing me. Anyway, so yeah, dude, I just think the last 2 weeks, it just seemed like the media slacked off of him. Like they backed off. And I don't know, because they were hedging their bets and saying, well, kind of looks like this guy's going to win. Good possibility.
Yeah.
So I think that especially, man, when he came out with that ad, and this would have happened in Roud State probably more than anybody else. Hi, Austin. It's my little boy. But so in his state, it's that ad that came out that said, Kamala is for they, them, and Trump is for us. And when that ad came out, right at the end, dude, that was just, to me, that was the home run that niched it for Trump. And yeah, I think the media really did hedge their bets. I mean, they took this guy for real for once,
Yeah.
Okay, so my biggest issue, like I made that meme and sent it to you guys a few days ago. Like, I think it'd be really easy to watch like what I've said over the last year and like how I've reacted to everything. I think it'd be really easy for somebody to paint me as a Trump supporter. But that meme I said, like, I don't want people to think that when I'm clowning on like the left, like that does not mean I'm standing on the right side, Like I'm not, again, like I'm not like anti-Trump at all. Like I'm not even anti-Kamala. Like to me, it's all about believability. And I'll say this, I might lose Jeff a little bit here, but I'll just be honest. To me, people were like, well, why do you hyper focus on pointing out the hypocrisy of the left, and it's like you give the right a pass? I'm not. This is the thing. I grew up in a red state. I love a lot of Republicans. I've known that the Republican Party had hypocrisy since I was 15 years old. The left is something that like I've learned is full of hypocrisy pretty much since halfway through Obama's first term. I kind of realized that, I feel like, if it was either George Carlin or Bill Hicks had a bit about like, you have these two political parties, but then you have somebody up top that's the puppeteer that's holding them both. I was doing some research on Norm's hometown where I work, Hugoton, Kansas. And in the 1800s, there was a battle between two towns for the county seat. One of them was staunch Democrat, but I'm talking old school Democrat. I'm talking created KKK Democrat. And then you had this Republican guy who was staunchly against slavery. And the people that were staunchly Democrat murdered him and his friends. And now Hugoton is the county seat. But it kind of brought me to a point that the Democratic Party used to be like Norm's not here. Does anybody know about when it switched? Because you always try to own like a liberal with thinking of like, oh, well, you guys invented the KKK. And they're like, well, you're an idiot. That was before the parties switched. What does that mean? How do parties switch? And how do you get every American to say, hey, if you're Democrat, now you're Republican? Like,
you think like this now.
Yeah. Jeff, do you know anything about the historical figures of why it's quote unquote switched?
Okay, so that comes from the 1960s with LBJ. Really, it goes back to the 1950s, because even in the 1950s, the first Civil Rights Act that LBJ signed was actually brought up by the Republican President Eisenhower. But it's funny that Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was the head of the Senate, is the one that actually niched that bill in the Senate. because back then the Democrats were still very pro KKK. They were the party of the Confederacy still. Anyways, in the 60s, when LBJ kind of looked around and said, "Hey, I'm losing white voters. I'm going to have to, kind of change my." They didn't change their policies. They changed the rhetoric. And really, now here's the truth. A lot of that is, I think, overblown about the Republicans going, so-called racist, and the Democrats didn't. The Republicans, there was one guy that switched from the Democrats to Republicans, and that was Strom Thurmond. From South Carolina, he was a segregationist, dude. He was a member of the Southern Dixiecrat Party in 1948, but he's off the having a route. Anyways, what happened is that big switch did happen. A lot of people, Nixon decided to go very socially conservative, and that's really why you saw the parties kind of switch. LBJ signed the Civil Rights Bill. He linked arms with Martin Luther King. And that's really where I think there was definitely some, at least to the public eye, change in the parties. Yeah, so I definitely know about that history.
Route, it said your mic and cam unconnected. You can just try to leave and come back. My question is this. So, how different are the two parties if you were able to take out if you were to be able to edit out both parties pandering to anybody, where they're just trying to scoop votes by, like you said, rhetoric only? How different do you feel like the left and right truly are if you get rid of who they pander to?
Wow. Okay, that's a really good question, because I think it comes down to, at that point, if you take identity politics, which, there's been so much said about this, like guys like Cenk Uygur and stuff in the last couple of weeks from the Young Turks. What's her name? Anna Kasabian, I think is her last name.
Yeah, the girl from the Young Turks.
Yeah, they've been bringing this up a lot, that the reason the left has lost its way and has lost the connection with the working class voter is they have played identity politics for 10 years now, instead of really focusing on the economic issues. So I think when you take away the identity politics of everything, and you just switch to straight up economic issues, the main difference is the left wing is, from what they say, is for, higher taxation on those that make more money, higher benefits for people, more of a welfare state, pretty much, right? And the right is for, people that, pretty much live your own life, lower taxes, lower regulation, that just like the President Calvin Coolidge said in the 1920s, the business of America should be business. And I agree with that, and I think that's what it comes down to is straight up just economics when it comes down to it. And the left has done a very good job of pandering to those that are known as the other in America, the so-called minorities. I don't like to say that too much, but they pander to, and they've lost their way, because you used to have a lot of conservative Democrats and religious Democrats. Hell, man, there used to be progressive Christians out there, and they have just abandoned them, dude. That's what you see, all the anger, like people like me. It's like, dude, why do you make me feel so bad for being a white Christian male? What did I do? Why do I have to be lectured to all the time? Especially by what really pisses me off, by white people. Okay, by white fucking progressive people. White women telling me about how. What is going on, Ralph? Tell me how bad would black women.
Now try to just not use your headphones, maybe. Go ahead, though, Jeff.
Oh, no, that's pretty much it, man. It's like, I'm tired of being lectured to by white people about stuff with black people. And me and you have a lot of the same views about this, Derek. When you tell me that a black or Mexican or whatever can't make it on their own without being helped by the government, yeah, dude, I get a bit offended by that. Like, you're saying that they're like a child. I need to help you up. You can't do it by your own. And, I think there's just a lot of rage about that out in the country right now, dude, that people are just like, you know what? We're just tired of being talked down to. We're sick of it. That's kind of how I saw this election. I think that was one of the biggest reasons Trump won.
I think you're right, man. I think that it's crazy. Like when I was a kid, because again, this might be an area where I lose you. When I was a kid, there was this like morality police, and it was Reagan Republican Christians that were trying to pretend like the world was a nice place, that nothing bad happened, and you couldn't say certain words, and because Jesus might, they used the whole angle of Jesus, but they were the kings of censorship in the sense of, like and nobody will get me to say that that I'm not correct. When I was a kid, 80s, 90s, the Republicans were the bummer people in the room. They were just like, behave yourself, act Christian. Now we still have a morality police in America, but now it's the left, and they're not doing it in the name of God. They're doing it in the quote unquote the right thing to do, the decent thing to do. But to me, it's kind of like you were saying, like, as somebody who's half Mexican, and the thing is when I say I'm half Mexican, I kind of feel silly because I know I'm half white. So like, I know that in up to 6 months ago in this country, being half white was a cardinal sin. My brown side did nothing for me. My white side had taken over and done all the evil things. But like, in my opinion, I feel like when I see a white person trying to overcorrect, history with, like basically trying to police how people talk, how people think. And I'm not even talking about just saying the N-word. I'm talking about like, really getting a microscope and trying to find where people are being quote unquote racist. I think that anybody that goes down that rabbit hole, I kind of went down it in my early 20s, I think anybody that goes down that rabbit hole of like trying to, as I've been saying it in chat for the past 2 weeks, like Donald Trump is perfect for a lot of American, I'll only say men because I'm a man. I feel like Donald Trump is perfect for a lot of American men because I'm not even saying Trump did anything weird, recklessly, sexually or anything, but let's just say he did everything they said he did. Donald Trump is quote unquote the worst man to ever live. He thinks with his dick. He only cares about money. He only cares about business. So say all those things are true. I think it's really easy for modern American men to look at him at this, what the media will show you as this quote unquote monster. And then we find ourselves being like, wow, I'm nothing like that. I don't have 34 felonies for sex shit. Like, so I'm a good person. But that's not true. You can't just go to an extreme version of somebody on an American value system and be like, look at how wild they are. Because of how wild they are, it minimizes the bad shit that I do. So therefore, I'm good, he's bad. It would be as silly as me being 280 pounds and going up to a guy that's 600 pounds and being like, get a load of this piece of shit. I'm not even fat. Like, I'm in great shape. What, compared to the guy that's yeah, I guess you're in better shape than the 600-pound guy, but you still breathe funny when you tie your shoes. It's not like you're thin, bro. You know what I mean? So
yeah, dude.
To me, that's my biggest issue is I think a lot of people, you're good. Now, I think a lot of people will point and laugh at Trump and be like, what a piece of shit. And I think they really think it absolves themselves of all the dirty shit they do. And the same thing with race. I think if you see a white person pointing out racism in other people on extreme levels, I think that they really think that it changes the shade of their skin. And now they're going to have black people going up and pounding their chest and being like, I saw this shit on TikTok. The women are wearing like blue bracelets, so people of color will know that they're a safe white woman. I'm sorry, but I know guys that are black. I know black guys that once they hear that, they're gonna say, "Hey, let's all fucking spit on." Like it's so patronistic. You're such a fucking white. Some white lady in a fucking van is here to. She's safe, guys. Like, who gives a shit? Like, nobody cares that you're safe. Maybe some of your like quote unquote black friends that you have, but like go to like an inner city and walk up to a black lady and be like, hey, I'm a safe white woman, and see what she says to you. Like, I'm just saying. Raud, welcome back to the show. What are your thoughts on white people trying to whitewash? They criticize. What are your thoughts on white people telling people to quit being racist?
It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. We're dealing with some bullshit here. everybody is racist in their own way. Everybody is prejudiced in their own way. And that's what makes us all cool. We're all a little different. Like we all have little things that stand out about us, and we should recognize them instead of ignoring them or trying to have somebody tell you how you should think or how you should feel, because that is never the answer. We should always make up your own mind and make your own decisions and not do what everybody else does because you were told to do so. It's all about power and it's all about control. Almost everything that fucking we'll talk about on this show tonight is about power and control.
That's right, buddy. That's right. You know, what I wanted to say, Derek, when you were saying that stuff about like, oh, you know, it's so bad that Trump makes this money. I find that like liberals, I'm like, you know, they criticize conservatives for like, all you care about is money and power. It's like, yeah, so do you. You know,
that's kind of how the game is played.
Yeah, like I didn't notice Bill Clinton, you know, doing speeches for free anytime in the last 10 years, or Warren Buffett being like, "Hey, no, you know, I won't take that $10 billion for Dairy Queen. Just hold on to that money." You know, no bullshit.
Fucking Kamala Harris campaign.
Yeah. Oh my God, Route. I'm so glad you brought that up, dude. Because when you're paying Oprah Winfrey $1 billion friggin' dollars.
Hey. That didn't go to Oprah Winfrey. That went to her event planning business that she owns.
Absolutely. No, I'm so sorry, Rao. You're so right.
Dime of that.
I shouldn't insinuate that she saw a dime of that. That would be racist. I mean, because I'm talking about a black woman. So I better stop. You know.
But I mean,
let me go get my blue armband real quick, just so they know I'm safe. So
get on Blue Sky.
Even then, though, like, if you're gonna pay celebrities to endorse you, like, I think. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I think if you're going to have Beyonce sitting on your screen during your show, and you paid her $20 million to be there, it should be Beyonce was paid $20 million to say this shit. It should say that. Like Absolutely. It should say that. It should. Absolutely. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Quick change. We're going to make a quick left here. So I did listen to your Roudcast from March 21st, 2020 yesterday.
Oh yeah.
A lot of your predictions were pretty spot on. But like, so here, this is what I kind of want to talk about. Like, I'm usually not a conspiracy guy. I was in my 20s, not so much anymore. But what I kind of want to talk about is I don't think much of a conspiracy. I think anybody that was around knew it happened. But I nuked my Facebook a week ago. I started a new one. I was only going to have one friend. I was never going to post. But Facebook told me, they sent me like a message saying, hey, like, it wasn't even a message, just came up like in my notifications. Hey, we noticed this is a new Facebook. There's no posts. You have no friends. So you need to either start adding friends and talking to people and posting, or we're going to delete this account because we think you're AI. So that's the only reason I'm like having any. I'm trying to post like YouTube. But anyway, I left Facebook for a plethora of reasons. The main reason I left Facebook is because of the fact checking during COVID and the, in my opinion, attempt to. Well, they did influence an election in 2020. And it was all of them except for TikTok, in my opinion. You can look, and I'm not somebody. I didn't go through the whole Twitter files, but one thing that is, you can look it up, and it's true, is that the Facebook, Instagram, all the big American companies, they squashed a ton of Hunter Biden stories about 13 days before people went to the vote booths that would have probably changed the election. But to me, like, the reason I kind of step away from Facebook and stuff is because, to me, that's a gross over. Like, I don't want Facebook telling me to vote for anybody. Like, I already have enough of my friends trying to tell me who to vote for in the news, but to have, like, it'd be like T-Mobile being like, trying to, like, they're my cell phone provider. They provide me with a service. It'd be like them being like, hey, vote for Biden. I'd be like, why are you saying that, bro? And why are you trying to
have better things to do?
I think, again, like, I hate when people get into hysterics. But usually when people talk about censorship, they're talking about like crazy words, like saying the F word for gay people or the N word for black people. Like, to me, like, those are such non-ish. I think the whole freedom of speech, you should be able to say whatever words you want. And then you have to go outside your house. If somebody pops you in the mouth for saying a word you shouldn't have said, then deal with it. But to me, censorship is when the Facebook, the watering trough, is telling us that COVID couldn't come from a lab.
Yeah.
And that, Tim, Raud, talk a little bit about your episode in March 2021, March 21st, 2020, and then also talk a little bit about like what you've seen the social media platforms do since COVID, basically.
So yeah, when I recorded that in March of 2020, that shit was just starting to get critical than where I was at. They were pretty much shutting down. I think it was the first week we were kind of getting shut down, second week, something like that. I thought the best thing to do was jump on and make a podcast about what was going on. So you could probably still find that on one of my RSS feeds there. It's called The Virus. I said that I was thinking long game. I was thinking, man, what's it going to do to the economy? What's it going to do to education, to our kids? Like, how long can this go on for? But I didn't think it would go on for 3 years. It's amazing that this thing went on and on and on. And even early on, if you fucking were watching the right stuff and reading the right stuff, listening to the right stuff, like there was experts saying this for sure was made in a laboratory. There's lots of markings on it. Fucking that Brett Weinstein that goes on Joe Rogan, that was a couple of months after when I made that podcast. He said, he was like, you put this under a microscope, this is definitely made in the lab. Somebody's messed with this. And all that shit. And they knew it affected fat people. They knew it affected older people and fucking immune compromised people. Those were the people that most at risk. We knew this months in, and we pushed this for 3 years. We let people eat outside. They went and poured sand on basketball courts so kids couldn't play basketball at the fucking parks or the skate parks. They poured sand on the skate parks. Like, we let them fucking straight up fucking ruin us, man. Try to. And we're coming back, but dude, it's been a long road, dude. We still got a long way to go. Because there's still a lot of people that are fucked up, completely. COVID just broke people. You can tell. You meet people and you're like, oh, fuck. Something happened there.
Another thing, too, is I think that whenever, because to me, I lost a lot of friends around that time because just because I wouldn't say that it came from bats. Yeah. They were like, well, it came from bats, right? And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Jon Stewart went on Colbert and basically was saying it was a lab leak early on.
Yeah.
It's and I think, honestly, he's probably going to be who they're going to run next. I think
he might be, too.
So if you have the guy who you're going to run in 8 years saying it's probably a lab leak and they called him crazy for a day and a half,
Yeah.
That is scary to me.
Yeah.
Because anytime you have a platform trying to police the conversation, first of all, it makes me think that you think I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Like my buddy Ron can, it's March, it's April 2020, and he posts a meme Mark Zuckerberg putting a thing at the bottom saying this has been fact checked by a lady with blue hair. To me, it's do you think I'm dumb? Do you think I believe everything Ron fucking posts? Do you think I have a Ron tattoo? You know what I mean? It's assuming that people are just but to me, let's say this. Let's say Facebook and everybody pushing the narrative that it came from bats early on and they fact checked all that shit. Let's say they were right. As a consumer, you made me not believe you. Whenever you tell me there's only one truth. As a human being, that's the one thing I dig about the Bible and shit is at least you get a choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get the blue pill or the red pill, but it's choose one and then that's it.
Yeah.
But to only be sold there's only one choice, and if you choose the other choice, we are probably going to make sure people don't see your shit on social media.
Yeah. That's just red flags. Something's going on there. If you fucking, you're trying to persuade someone to think a certain way and vote a certain way, or there's something fucking afoot there. And it's why does this one side seem to do it more? I mean, they both do it, but I feel like the psyops and shit, like the shit that they're doing, like it goes long and deep, like some weird fucking shit, man. Like I said, it's just about having control. I mean, just being able to fucking tell people what to do. Stay in your home. You are not essential. Essential workers only. What the fuck is essential? I'm essential to fucking my planet. What the fuck are you telling me? That's what they told everyone.
That's another word for poor. If you're fucking poor, you're essential. Because
little Timmy's essential at the fucking grocery store.
Okay, well,
he's gonna fucking die, but he can go fucking bag your groceries.
Rod, I know you're massively anti-shutdown, like which I see all of your points. But let's be honest here, real quick.
Which ones are
COVID was real. It was a real disease. I've seen some people that have COVID.
It was.
I have a realtor that worked with us like in 2018, and I started this new Facebook, and it suggested her as a friend. I talked to her in March when I was going to sell my house, and she told me she couldn't do it because she said she had COVID in 2020. She said it fucked her up. And dude, she was like probably in her early 50s, late 40s, but she looked great, you know. She's like an old woman now. Like her profile picture, like COVID fucked her up.
I know it did. I'm not meaning to laugh. I know it.
15 years.
It did. I know. I know some people that died from it. I do.
Okay, so we all agree that it was a real thing.
Yes,
so I guess
absolutely.
like, let's say you had the keys to the world, like, because again, I agree with you. The shutdown didn't really work, but like, do you think the shutdown was like a good idea on any level, considering we were dealing with a brand new virus that pretty much spread to anybody that got near you?
I think you have to have some kind of shutdown. I just think it went on for way too long. I think there's no way to not we were doing some novel fucking virus that you breathe in that could stay. I mean, at first they were saying it stays in the air for like 9 days or shit. They were fucking, you had to Lysol wipe all your groceries and fucking surfaces because they could stay on the surface for fucking 6 days or something.
Well, dude,
saying some crazy shit like that.
Well,
we literally brought our groceries in and fucking wiped them down with Clorox fucking Lysol wipes. I'm sure that's probably worse. I just put bleach all over my fucking groceries. This is what they were fucking telling us to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Crazy.
I think it was like, but there was that cruise ship that was contaminated, and they had it out.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That was one of the first big things.
They kept finding live virus like in areas that hadn't been, and nobody had been in there for like days.
Yeah.
So I do think that, because again, like just because like it's really easy to be like, yeah, and early on I knew it was a lab, not even new, but I figured it was a lab leak. It's really easy for like us to say that now and then expect people to come out and hand us a doctorate degree from Harvard. But like that's just common sense. It was kind of obvious that this probably came from a person. But I still think that nobody knew what this disease was going to do to us. How, like, I'll admit, like, and even this, I think people who are like, I got one vaccine and then like the second dose, that's all I ever did. Raud, you never got a single one, I'm pretty sure. But at the end of the day, like I don't think if you were anti-shot, that meant you were pro the idea that COVID wouldn't kill you. Like, I think it was more of I don't trust what the fuck you guys did. Like, I don't know what you did besides this vaccine that you guys came up with in 9 months. You know what I mean? Go ahead and talk on that, Rob.
Yeah. So, I'm not all my kids are vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. You know, I've taken the flu shot many years. Like, I have nothing against vaccines. I'm not anti, but this one, it was just, I don't know. I had bad feelings, man, the whole time that it just, just it was rushed. And like, you know, just listening to some of the things that I listened to and had read, you know, like I already knew not to trust the pharmaceutical companies. Like my friends, everybody I grew up with is dead or in jail or in rehab. That's about it. All of them. I could tell you, I could count 20 people right now that are all dead from pretty much prescription Percocet, Oxycontin, morphine, fentanyl. And like, I know that the pharmaceutical companies are not good. I worked in a pharmacy for a fucking year. Like, I seen some of the shit that goes on. Like, I know that they're not to be trusted, and they do not care about fucking human beings' lives. And so when this shit, like I heard it was Pfizer, and I know Pfizer is not great. Not a great track record. I think they have the number one. I think they have more fines than any other pharmaceutical company. They've paid out more for fines for killing people than any other company. So they were one of the big ones they're talking about putting these vaccines out there. I'm like, I don't think so. And the pressure was really hard because there was multiple times where like I have family disown me. They're all telling me I'm retarded. One of my cousin told me I wasn't welcome in his house. He told me that nobody that was or anybody that was not vaccinated could not come in his house anymore, and that I was a fucking idiot. And I even went to my wife. I was like, maybe we should just do it. Trying to like give my wife's like, nah. She like held out hard. She's like, no, that's shit stupid. We're not doing it. And we held out. But yeah, it's still weird with some of those people. Like they come back and it's like, what do they say now?
Jeff, did you get vaccinated?
I did the same thing as you, Derek. What kind of vaccine? I got the Moderna where it was like the 1 and the 2, and then that's the only time I did it. That was the first round.
What do we get? Our vaccination on COVID. What brand? I don't know.
Now, that being said, though, do you guys know anybody, some people that got fucked up by COVID. Do you know anybody that's been fucked up by the COVID vaccine?
So there's no way to tell, but I can tell you this. I've had 2 friends in the last 8 months that died of esophageal cancer, and they were both, they both died before Biden dropped out, but they would have been Kamala queefs for sure. They got packed hard.
Yeah.
I think my son, dude, like we got him the COVID vax when he was a year, almost 2 years old. And I see there's a pretty big disparity immune system wise between my son, who is almost 4, and my other boy, who's 2 years old. The 2-year-old seems to recover from colds a lot faster. The older one seems to be hit a lot harder by colds, and he catches everything, things that the other one doesn't catch. And maybe that's an age disparity, but and that could be, but it just seems like his immune system.
You're saying that you think the shot maybe helped him?
No, I'm saying that I think the shot. Yeah, I think the shot actually weakened his immune system, and everything I've learned from gain of function, that stuff is that it does. Yeah, maybe it'll help you a little bit against that particular virus, but it really leaves you vulnerable to like every other freaking virus out there and every other, strain of flu or cold out there, and it hits you much harder than it normally would. These people turn us into living lab rats, dude. Like,
man.
Trying to turn. There's so much about what you said, Route, on your show that's just true. That, and Brett Weinstein was another one of those guys that were out there really exposing the stuff that. They're turning us into the vaccines. That's the main goal, is to turn your human body into a form of a vaccine. It's dangerous, dude. It's not just unethical. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely.
We should have been rebelling, dude, against this shit, but how are we doing?
No. And I mean, it just shows like that's another thing you can say is like the COVID wasn't that bad, like on the scale of like how many people it wasn't as lethal as we thought it was going to be.
The flu is worse.
Yeah. It's like, if you look at it, the percentage, if you look up what the percentage is to survive COVID, you know what it is, Derek?
No.
I think it's like 96% or maybe even more than that. Fucking, it's like the survival rate out of everyone that ever got COVID. Now it's like very super high. But again, at first we didn't know. It was crazy. Everybody was freaked out. You got to get everything under control. You got to kind of check it out a little bit. But I think that again, early on, it was known that it kind of affected more like heavier people, older people with bad immune systems. It seemed to not mess kids up very bad. And they're still 2.5 years later, they're trying to vaccinate children still. It's like, What the fuck are you doing? Like, like we all know it doesn't fucking even affect kids. Why are we doing this? Because people are making fucking money. It's a business. They're fucking making money off of it.
And they're not stopping at COVID.
No, dude.
They want RSV now. Now it's RSV.
You realize all the cancers? Isn't it weird that all these cancers are on the rise too? That all these people.
Yeah.
I just read this article in the Toledo paper about these neighborhoods around me where all these people are having cancer. Like in the neighborhood, like 30 or there's like 20 people out of like 35 people in this neighborhood have cancer. And they're all different kinds of cancer, so they don't know what it could be. That it may be radon gas. I don't know. Like, isn't it weird that all these cancers are on the rise too? Like, and then what's the cure of that? A fucking cancer vaccine. I got a vaccine that'll fucking cure your cancer. It'll kill any kind you got. Just take this shot. And we actually got to take 10 of them. And then you got to do a booster. And then you got to do a rebooster. And then another booster. And then another booster. And I think another booster. Is that 6? How many more? How do they do? Are they still doing boosters?
Can you guys take another drink of those alcoholic beverages? Because every time it just looks fucking tasty.
My mom's got cancer.
It looks like liquid bread.
I'm drinking Jack Daniels mixed with Coca-Cola. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah,
they have these mixed drinks now. They're so good, and then they have sugar free. We got some of these. We didn't get sugar free tonight, and then we got you ever had the Cayman Jack margaritas in a bottle?
No, I've seen you drinking them. I've seen them, but I've never had one before.
Grab you a 6er of them, dude. They're really good, dude.
They're margarita, like a little.
Yeah, it's just like a little bottle. It's a little. That's dude. Like if you just go to that section in the store, most of the brands are just putting out like mixed drinks now. Like fuck it, they like Jack and Coke. They just like this is, and they actually have it with Coke Zero.
I've had Jack and Coke. Those are good.
Dude, these are delicious, man. And you drink about 4 or 5 of them. Next thing you know, you're in your neighbor's backyard.
How about Sainide specials? You guys remember those? Did you guys ever drink those back Sainide specials? Did you ever?
Oh yeah, I think that's. What about those little ones? What were the little Kings? Ever drink Little Kings?
Christ. The Boone's Farm things.
Oh yeah, we used to drink Boone's Farm.
All right, here we go. Well, we're switching subjects. First, what was the first? Let's get your first real fucked up story on booze. What was it? How'd you get it?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
How did the night fare? Jeff, you go first since you're the one on the show. You're the only one in Norm's chat that has actually had a drug problem before. The rest of us are like, man, I smoke a lot of weed and drink a lot. We're gay basically when it comes to drugs. You've been kicked out of Circle K bathrooms. Anyway, tell us about your first time getting boozed up.
So the one I can remember, dude. So I moved down in the ghetto, dude. Like my mom was a hella tweaker, so we ended up down in the hood. And my buddy, well, my mom had a really good friend, and she had a son that was my age, and he was like the only like white kid in the neighborhood. So we would hang out together pretty much, you know. And he would bring his homie over, and they would get like McCormick brand fucking tequila, dude. Like the worst store brand tequila that you could fucking muster up, dude. And, you know, I had never drank. I'd had like a beer here and there, you know, with my pops and stuff or whatever, but I never sat there and shots. And I sat with these boys, dude, and took shot after shot. And this is back in like 97 where every white guy's trying to be a gangbanger, you know? And like, so they're like, hey, dog, let's do some flows, dog. And I'm like, you know, they're just, anyways, it was just back and forth. They were playing cards. Well, eventually what happened to me, dude, is I don't know what fucking planet I went into, but I said to myself at one point, I said, man, it's hot. And I went over to the freezer and I'm like, that seems like a really nice place And I don't know, dude. I put my head on the freezer for a minute. I'm like, and I fell asleep. And dude, all of a sudden, dude, my boys are telling me I blacked out before all this happened, but my boys are saying like, I was falling asleep in there. I started shaking because it was so cold, and they grabbed me out like, dude, what the fuck? And then after that, dude, I threw up for the next 4 hours. That was my first experience with the devil fucking alcohol.
Oh man, it's a rough one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should never drink alcohol from a company that also sells sea salt.
Are there a lot of companies that sell both?
Isn't McCormick like where you go to get like steak seasoning?
Yeah.
It is. You're right. You're right. They do make a vodka. That's what I was thinking. We used to call that Kamachikov vodka. Kamachikov. That was Kamchaka or whatever. Kamchaka vodka. Kamachikov. That shit we'd get wasted on. No, but I got a story for you. Man, so many. So one time I got a bottle of Black Velvet that I stole from my fucking grandfather's liquor cabinet. And we went to my buddy's house. And it was me and my best friend and then my buddy. It was his house. So, and then my buddy's little sister and her best friend. And so my buddy's like, of course, we had a bunch of bottles of liquor. And he's like, I got to go hang out with my girlfriend. So he leaves us with his sister and her friend and all this booze. So we start getting fucked up. I drank a whole bottle of Black Velvet. And I was like, I don't even think I was driving, so maybe 15. And fucking, I also took a handful of pills that were laying on the counter. There's big black ones. I think they're the Black Beauty gas station pills. I still don't even know to this day what it was, but I ate those and chugged fucking Black Velvet. So I started. That's where I lose everything. I don't really remember much after that. But I had my pants down at one time. I was puking out a window. The dude, my best friend, put a cigarette out on me. I was just being belligerent, like getting crazy, just smashing shit. He like dropped me once. They said he was kicking me in my face just because I was so hammered. And then the next day, we get up and we go to fucking go get something for breakfast. We go to this restaurant. We're sitting there and we're ordering our shit and order with the waitress, whatever. Fucking get up and I walk into the fucking bathroom and I got shit. I got dicks all over my head, like Nazi symbols. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm in public. This restaurant's packed. The fucking waitress is looking at me. She's like smirking. Like I knew something was up. Like I didn't look at myself in a mirror. I just got up hammered and fucking jumped in the car. It was terrible, dude. I felt so terrible.
Dude, listen.
Let me tell you one more. The one I don't want me to cut you off, but I had to tell you the story. I have to get the story out of me. One time, this is one of the first times I ever drank. I went down to Atlanta to visit my cousin. This was way before I moved down there. This was like his high school graduation party. So I went down and was hanging out with him and his friends. Again, we're like 18, 17. And we're at this party, and all these kids are taking shots and smoking and shit. And there's a bottle of vodka on the it's like a half full bottle of vodka sitting on the table. We're outside on a patio. It's like there's fucking like these kids are all fucking chugging whatever. And I grabbed this bottle and they're like, hey dude, they're like, don't fucking drink that. Like there's a bunch of cigarette butts in there. You know, we've been ashing in that cigarette butts. I just fucking take it to my face, dude. Fucking pound it. Fucking pounded like fucking all of it, dude. Put it down. Bro, I will. That is the nastiest shit. Don't do that. I puked I just like vomited yellow vial for like 3 days and fucking had my breath and everything tasted like cigarettes. I smelled cigarettes coming out of my pore. Like, don't do that, okay? If any kid ever listens to this and ever gets that idea, don't drink liquor with fucking cigarette butts in it. It's very toxic. Your body will let you know.
Dude, nicotine's one of the worst chemicals to OD on.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Like, it's terrible.
Have you ever dipped?
Yes, it's terrible.
Well, it gets you so I don't know, like nicotine. Like my first experience with nicotine is my mom used to smoke whatever cheap brand 100 cigarettes. And when I was probably like 13 or 14, I would steal one and I would walk down down the alley. I lived on Main Street. I would walk like 3 blocks down the alley to the Cunningham Park and I would hide at the top of the tornado slide and I would smoke the whole cigarette like a fucking idiot, dude. And then I would just get so hammered off nicotine, dude. And it's not good. It's not a good buzz. You're spinning. You feel like you got to puke. And like I would usually puke and shit. But like anytime like I'm from Kansas, so a lot of my good friends, as soon as we got to like 18, they started dipping, and they got like really bad into it. But they started doing the pouches and shit. And dude, I can put like just a regular Copenhagen pouch in my. Maybe now it'd be different because I'm a heavy smoker. I smoke like a pack and a half a day. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But like back then, I didn't even smoke. But like, dude, I remember just one dip of Copenhagen would give me like the fucking spins, dude. Like ill with. Like nicotine's one of the worst drugs to take too much of, dude.
Yeah.
Like you ever smoke, like when you're a smoker, you get to talking to a good friend, you smoke 4 cigarettes in a row. Next thing you know, you're like, I think I'm gonna.
Yeah, you don't feel good at all. Not at all, dude. I have another fucking story. I have to tell you this. This is fucking nuts too. It's so disgusting. Me and this kid were playing Halo in my dorm room, and fucking. He I have no idea why he fucking just like grabbed a 2-liter off of I had a 2-liter sitting there on my desk, like against the wall. And it's like the lights are dark. We're playing Halo. He fucking reaches over, grabs it, starts chugging it. Fucking like, I'm like, dude, like we're seeing he's drinking. It's like, I'm like, dude. He like puts it out. He's like, what? He's like, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I'm like, okay. Fucking, I was like sick and I was fucking spitting loogies, like all these nasty, like fucking actors, like boogers, like dude, like scabs coming out of my throat and shit. And I think I was chewing and spitting it too before I did that.
Oh, God.
Fucking, dude, he drank it. And he was like, oh, he's like, don't even tell me. He's like, I don't even want to know what it was. Like, we were both hammered. And I never told him. I was like, oh, I just always still think about that. I was like, dude, it was so fucking nasty. Oh, God.
First time I ever got drunk, it was, I was like 15. I was at my uncle's house in Boise City, which is like 35 miles from here. And then we were hanging out. I was 15. Ian was like 17 and my cousin was like 17. We were hanging out with these older dudes that were probably like 25. They had kids and they were like pretend adults. But I remember they were they couldn't drink or something because they had to take. This is like late 90s oil field. This is Oklahoma, Kansas, Oklahoma. Like oil field. Like they're gonna go work on a rig and they can't piss dirty. So, like, they had taken some kind of, I don't know, God knows what it was. They probably got it in some, like, High Times magazine. But it was some kind of shit that would clean their system out. They just took it, and it made them sweat, and they could do everything. But they could actually smoke weed, but they couldn't drink alcohol. So, like, I remember their wives were, like, talking shit about how, like, yeah, they're trying to pass a drug for pot, and they can do everything. They can smoke pot. They just can't drink. So anyway, I'm at their house, and these guys are like, I didn't smoke pot. I was 15, but they kept going in the bathroom to smoke, and so I was like smoking cigarettes at that point, thinking I was like an adult, And so I was hanging out with these older dudes, smoking a cigarette and shit, and then one of my cousins, like they bring in like a 30-pack of beer, and these guys couldn't drink it. They had a 30-pack of beer and Budweiser. They couldn't drink it. So my older cousin's like, let's get fucked up, and I'm just like, yeah, duh, that's what you do when you're hanging out, with the boys.
Yeah.
So I remember I opened my first Budweiser and took a drink, and I just to this day I don't like the taste of Budweiser. It's just
Oh man,
So
curse words.
tastes like kissing like a drunk cowboy or something. It's just like,
Dude. What do you think of Miller Lite or Miller High Life?
beers. A light beer is nothing to me. A light beer is essentially water anymore. But anytime a beer's got a dick and some nuts on it, I'm like, I don't know, bro. Like I'm just not really into beer. So I drank I think I drank a full beer and I had to choke it down, dude. It was the worst taste ever. So I ended up going to the kitchen and I'm like sitting there thinking of I go to get my next beer and I'm just like, this shit is nasty. And this is back in the late 90s where all the fast food companies had the super size. So there's these huge cups everywhere.
Yeah.
So I get one of those super sized cups and I pour my Budweiser in there and I open the fridge, and they also had something that's significant in the 90s was they had generic brand cola of a 3LP. Either of you know what a 3LP is? You know what a 2 liter is, right?
Yeah.
You remember the 3 liters of pop they used to sell?
Yeah.
Just the epitome of America doesn't care about our heart conditions anymore.
The 3 liter.
The 3LP was
Why do you need that?
If you drank a 3LP without a cup, you're a piece of shit. If you tipped a 3LP while driving, you're a piece of shit. Okay? But so anyway, I take out this cola 3LP and I make my first mixed drink. It was a Budweiser and 3LP cola. And one of the older guys finds me. He's like, "What are you doing, buddy?" I was like,
Hey buddy, did you smoke crack? What the fuck are you doing?
He's authentically concerned.
Did you just pour beer in that Coca-Cola? The fuck,
I know
dude?
You're a minor. I know you're a minor. I'm offering you booze and drugs. Were you okay? So I tell him I try to play it cool. I'm just like, nah, dude. I was like, I just like mixed drinks, and he's just like, that's okay. And he probably went and prayed for him. But I think I drank 4 mixed drinks of the 3LP and the Budweiser, but then just to cut back to our last one, he offered me Copenhagen, no pouch, just a big old chaw. And once I did that, I started feeling the spins, and then I started getting pretty fucked up.
Yep.
Took a big swig of my mixed drink and swallowed the whole dick.
Oh, no.
So I am sick for 3 days, dude. Just trust me, dude. If you want to get out of something, swallow a big grip of Copenhagen, and you're not going to have fun for 3 days, dude. Yeah. And then my grandma Trevino told on me and shit. My mom screamed at me and stuff. But yeah, dude. But I don't know, man. I think that alcohol is one of those things, man, where it can be a really cool thing. But it can very quickly not. It's just why? How many times have you you're sitting there just feeling like shit, and you're promising you'll never touch the stuff again?
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was an inflatable penis for Halloween one time, throwing up in a bathroom because I fucking smoked weed and drank way too fast at a Halloween party. And I had the coolest costume of everybody, dude. It's 2005. I was a big old inflatable penis, and I had balls where my feet were, dude. And all the hot chicks and their fucking get-ups are all rubbing on me, and I'm like, yeah. I had a bunch of fucking, Jack Daniels and beer at 4:00 in the afternoon. I think I'll smoke some weed. That would be a fucking great idea, right? And I end up, and then I'm sitting there talking to some Asian broad, dude, and she's fucking smoke show, dude. And I just remember at some point her voice just started going, and I'm like, this is not going to go well at this point. It's all downhill, buddy. I fucking run upstairs. So you're looking at this inflatable penis running upstairs, and I dethrone, and I'm on the porcelain god, dude, for the next 4 hours. Got my head on the toilet seat. I'm like, oh, it's nice and cool, and I'm just gonna fall asleep. And then all of a sudden, dude, the whole party decides to hang out in the bathroom with me and take pictures and just come on downstairs, have another beer, bro. Have a puking rally. No, leave me alone. Dude, so alcohol can definitely suck. I've taken GHB though, and that's its own story, dude.